All right, so here's the deal. I've yet again been procrastinating my homework. The issue is this assignment's a little different than my other classes in that this is an oil painting, and oil painting is still something I'm very new to, but it's also a self-portrait. This is something I've never attempted before, and on top of both of these things, it has to be done in the Fauvist art movement style. I'll definitely throw some photos on screen of like kind of what that looks like, but basically what that means is abstracting colors and pushing color balances according to interesting color theory, trying to get dynamic color relationships, all things that I would say I struggle with greatly. So this is gonna be I don't know, this is gonna be a scary one. I don't know how this is gonna work out for me. This is a daunting project to say the least, not something I'm comfortable with at all. So I definitely want to just dive in and get it started, because who knows how long this is gonna take me, and it's already 5:44 at the point of me starting this right now, so hopefully I get to bed tonight. Wish me luck. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, in order to help me, we're supposed to use a mirror like so. And I tried to set up some relatively dramatic lighting here. And I got this canvas, that's some old one I reused that I just gessoed a couple layers onto. And I also have over here a little time lapse set up. So hopefully you guys will be able to see what I'm working on as it goes. Yeah. All right, so before we get started, unfortunately, I have a quick little story time. I'm not one to be overly prepared, which often works to my detriment. For example, right now I just realized I had none of my painting supplies, so I had to do a brisk walk because my girlfriend has my car for the evening, about 15 minutes away to the art building to gather all of my supplies. And also, I barely made it there before they close. By the time I got back, it was late enough I figured I should just feed my dog and take him for a walk real quick. Okay. So it's now 6:45. I still have not started. Yeah. Okay, well, now I'm gonna start. So anyways, that's it. All right, so to start off, I just laid down this nice green base layer. I like to do this to try and kill all that white canvas space, because I think it really screws with all your colors. Later on in the painting, it makes everything easier to kill all that white. I'm munching on a snack and having a drink while I catch up with my friend in FaceTime, just to procrastinate as much as possible. Finally, I get started on the sketching portion, where I knew things were a little bit off, but I just kind of rushed it because I wanted to get right into the painting and get this ugly stage over with, because I knew this was going to be bad, and it was definitely humbling right about here, where I'm just trying to lightly put in those dark and light areas, and there's still so much contrast between them that it's really hard to get the full scope of the final image. But you just gotta trust the process and slowly give it more depth with more colors. And yeah, my friend was asking to see it on FaceTime, and it was really embarrassing for me to show it at the very beginning, but I stuck with it, and slowly it started to come along and represent the likeness I wanted a lot more. At this part, I was kind of bridging a lot of those gaps with the colors I was missing and started to lay in a little bit more detail. Some of the eye details got a little wonky, and they're a little up and left from where I wish they got placed, but it's really hard to move that alla prima when everything's still wet. Finally, I'm happy enough with the likeness that I just drop in a flat purple here for the hat. I definitely went a lot more simple with the clothing, just because I wanted to draw your attention to the portrait, as that's, definitely the name of the game with this assignment. I still decided to have some fun though and mix up some random colors here for my shirt, just to give it some variety and try and contrast that background that I wanted to do later as much as possible. Yeah, but that's my night one progress. All right, and I am back again for night 2, aka the last night to finish this painting here. Again, I have unfortunately procrastinated, so current time is 9:55. I'm happy with this first layer. I kind of got like a base down, lights and darks, general shapes, and I'm relatively happy with how everything's going. Without a doubt, my biggest hang up is the eyes. I know they're both just kind of shifted off to the left and up a little from where I feel they should be, but you know, it's just a one-day homework assignment, so I can't really move them effectively in my opinion, so I think I'm just gonna leave them and just deal with them how I can. So yeah, anyways, I can't really waste any more time, but yeah, let's get into this. So for date 2, I knew I didn't have a lot of work left to do, and I already had a likeness I liked, so I just really wanted to make everything pop. So I started by adding this bright red kind of moving background to make all of the greens and yellows really come out and pop and draw your attention again to that portrait as much as possible. From here, I just went in and add another layer of detail, highlighting and darkening the spots that I felt needed it. I did another pass over the shirt here just to add more color variety because I really wasn't happy with how flat it was looking. And then I did go back in and add a little bit of an outline just to make everything pop a little bit more. And finally, I did decide to blur out some of those brush strokes in the background just to draw your attention further to the portrait. And yeah, that's just basically the finished painting. Alright, so as I'm sure you saw in the video, it's finally done. I successfully completed this behemoth of a assignment. Yeah, it definitely wasn't easy, and I found myself continuing to procrastinate and work so slowly on it, but it's finally finished and it feels good. I'm relatively happy with the final result, even though I got away from a lot of the fauvism stylistic elements, and it kind of became kind of a more hybrid impressionist kind of approach, especially with something like the background elements, but I'm not mad at it, honestly. For doing it in just like 2 late evening sessions for a homework assignment, I did what was necessary for the project, and I definitely wish I spent some more time on it and think I could have done even better, but I often have a habit of overworking my paintings anyways, so maybe it was for the best that it finished in the state it did. Yeah, this is something I honestly think I kind of built up in my head too much. Trying to get the painting started was really difficult for me, especially in that awkward phase. Only like an hour or 2 in, it was looking so atrocious, and yeah, I think in the end I did kind of pull it together. But yeah, regardless, I think I learned a lot from it, especially with that workflow process of hating it so much for so long, and then in the end, finally, now a few days after being farther away from it, I feel like I can finally appreciate it and I enjoy the painting a lot more, versus, you know, when you're coming right away from it after working on it for 2 late nights, it's hard not to just absolutely hate that thing, or at least that's often my experience, and I've heard people say similar things. But yeah, it was good to do something so far out of my comfort zone that it was just terrifying and just get my feet wet. I think I'll definitely do another self-portrait in the future. Whether or not that'll be soon, I really doubt, but it was definitely a fun process, and yeah, I definitely learned a ton from it. I hope you enjoyed kind of watching my process unfold and me trying to slowly meander my way to a self-portrait. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching and maybe learned something along the way. I encourage you to try a self-portrait of your own if you never have before. I think it was a good learning experience for me. But yeah, if you haven't already, please check out my socials at Jake Made Art. I'll leave links in the description for everything, but I appreciate you for watching. Thank you so much. Have a great night.